I'm sitting right here with a beautiful, ever so beautiful Audrey Chirenje. Audrey, good morning.
Good morning, Marisa. You're looking lovely today, by
Thank
the
you
way.
so much. And I love our oranges.
Oh, yeah.
That's bright and, you know.
We're blending.
We're blending, and that's absolutely fantastic. Audrey, we have an important book that we are discussing this morning. And when I say important, I mean these are issues that our children mainly are being faced with. Okay, and I'm holding this very colorful. I mean, I remember reading about it, and in my mind, I was like, oh, Marvel Studios, I love it, and I'm a huge Marvel fan. And it's nice to see that we have our very own Marwei and Friends. This is the book Marwei and Friends. Please, Audrey, what is this book about?
All right, and like you rightly said, I love the book, even if you see the texture, the colors, multicolors inside, and she's made it into like a Marvel movie, so that the kids can relate. So Marwei and Friends are the trauma-busting warriors. So Ruvimbo, the author, she's a psychologist and a businesswoman and a Christian. So what she did was she put, obviously, what she goes through her daily job, the counseling, the trauma, and then she put it in a book and she fictionalized it. So you've got the main character, Marwei, he's the superhero, and he's got his two sidekicks, Rudo and Peter.
That's his friends?
Yes, that's his friends.
Okay.
So Marwei also, he grew up in a family whereby his father used to hit his mother all the time, and he would hide under the table. So one day while he was crying and praying, he saw the light. Like they literally say, he saw the light, and then God called him and said, since you've also gone through this trauma, I want you to now go and help other little children going through trauma. So you find that in every chapter of the book, it's a different set. The other one, it's bullying at school, like on a cricket pitch, and then the one team loses, and then the other kids kick at the other opponent. It seems small little things, but it's very detrimental to the children's well-being.
I love this, guys. I'm like very visual, and these pictures are incredible, and they're just showing really what is happening as he fights. And you know, that's one word that I've just opened this page, the acronym FIGHT, and that's translated to F is the shield of faith, and then I is the helmet of information, G is the sword of goodness, H is the breastplate of happiness, T is the shoes of trauma busting. Now we do know we have a scripture in the Bible, the full armor of the Lord, and this is really just breaking it down for the kids to understand. So obviously this is targeted at children. You know how you said that he used to watch his mother and father abuse in the home. Can we stay on this topic for a little bit? Tell us about this domestic abuse that our children are facing, and what is really happening outside of this about that situation?
Okay, so I've got a few stats here. They're very alarming, let me just say that. 89 million youth between the ages of 12 and 24 are out of school in sub-Saharan Africa. Over 17 million youth are orphans in Southern Africa. These are UNICEF stats. And then over 60% of African children have experienced violence. So this is to your last question. 60%, guys.
That is over half of the population of the world. And obviously, being Africa, majority of Africans are children.
Yeah. And also being Africa, it's part of our culture, sort of normal. We've normalized this.
Yes, and that's
so no one's going to talk about it.
Nobody is talking about the normalization of actually, you know, things like that. It's become an issue, and you see a lot of this violence happening. Outside of this book, I think even just reading it, it says here, it also talks about child abuse, not just, you know, fighting parents, child abuse as well. What are other forms of child abuse that she touches on?
So in the chapter that she talks about child abuse, it's an uncle actually touching a little girl on her private parts. And then, you know, like how, like we're talking about, the children are scared to even talk about it. But I like how the new curriculum, let's give a big pound to the minister right there. Because now at school, the teachers are talking about it.
Right.
They even have little words. They know that no one's supposed to touch them.
My body.
Yes,
here.
and here and here. So they now know about these things. Then we've got other organizations, your Childline, your Musasa Project. So people, they're now avenues whereby people can now talk to other people, they can find shelter, they can find help. But back to your earlier statement, you know, like in our culture, if a woman is bitten, for example, she goes to tell maybe the tetes or the relatives, the question they'll ask is, wakaita se?
That's it.
What
is
did
it
you
your
do?
fault? It's your
what
fault.
Did you do? So I'm just saying, guys, but in the same breath, we also now have uncles and aunties who are like, no, I will not have my child return here in a coffin.
Yeah.
So
they're standing up for them now.
They're standing up for them, and they don't ask this infamous question of wakaita say.
Yeah.
They actually ask, are you okay? How can we help? How can we support you?
And I think this is one of the things that, you know, we should really speak out more of, supporting each other. If someone comes to you with a problem, support them, listen to them, and actually delve deep. But, you know, at the end of the day, we do know that we are faced with huge cases of abuse. And speaking of that, these are some of the themes that's one of the themes actually that's brought up in this book. What are the other themes and insights that we see in this book?
Okay, so she also talks about, adverse childhood experiences in the form of dysfunctional families. So we have also sort of normalized this. This is not even just Africa, even the whole world. Yeah, families are dysfunctional, so what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the psychologists say that a child's formative years are by like 9 years.
Yeah.
And they would have formed already their character. So we're shaping these children. By 9, 10 years old, you shape them into little whatever.
And then what you're watching at home, geez.
Yeah, and then now they go through school, they cause trauma on other kids, and they grow into bitter adults and all that. So it's like a cycle which keeps on repeating. Yeah. So we need to break this with books like this, and also counseling and psychological effects that she talks about.
Yes. And she also talks about the issue of grief.
Grief?
So most of the times we're always thinking that because it's Sustakura, we feel the effects of grief more. But, you know, when you're thinking about a child, they deal with it differently. You know, how does a child experience grief, and how do we help a child in that situation? So
in the book, in one chapter, she actually talks about just grief. So it opens with a scene whereby a child is crying. I think they're twins, and they're crying and they're hiding in the bedroom, and the adults are in the lounge, and they're discussing them like they're a piece of furniture, you know?
Wow.
And one aunt is saying, no, I can't take them. The other one saying, no, I can't. Who's going to provide for them? Others want to actually take stuff that the parents left, you know, but the children can hear them, like you're saying. So eventually, when the Marwei and the sidekicks arrive, they end up talking to the grandparents, who say, no, we want to take them in, but we're old and we don't have the resources. Then Marwei actually tells them, you know what, there are organizations that actually help for fees and food, and we have them here in Zim. And
that's absolutely fantastic. That's bringing awareness of what you can actually, where to actually go to seek help. This is a fantastic book. Oh my goodness, I've got goosebumps just talking about it right now.
It is. And for me, it was such a nice find, because I'm always trying to find a good book which will be good for our viewers.
For everybody, yeah.
This was a good book. And guess what? It has a little, after every chapter, it's got a little section, 2-3 pages, whereby a child can fill out whatever they're going through, what they're feeling. Wow. Then it's got a section for parents as well.
To fill out as well.
Yes, because like I was saying, some parents also went through difficult childhood, and they become adults, but they're still dealing with trauma from when they were
kids.
100%.
Wow, absolutely fantastic. And one quote from the book, it says, I want children to be kept safe from all forms of harm. The devil is out to bruise every child. He wants to hurt every little child so that they grow up to be very unhappy adults. And this is really true. You know, and I love the message behind this book, just to really make sure that our children are being taken care of. Audrey, where do we find this book?
This book is on Amazon and direct from the author. So Ruvimbo, I'm speaking to you right now. You need to make sure this book is available in more bookshops in Zimbabwe, because it's such a fantastic book.
Very fantastic indeed. So you said it's on Amazon?
Amazon.
Only. It's not in any of our shops?
No, and then direct from the author.
Okay, so she's local.
She's local. Okay. She's on social media. So I think she also lectures part-time at the UZ on psychology. So if you find Fortune Ruvimbo Marikano on all social media platforms, and then you can hit her up and send a DM, and then she'll hook you up with the book.
What a fantastic read. I recommend it. I haven't read it, but just reading bits and pieces of it in here is definitely something that I want my children to get their hands on. Thank you so much, Audrey, for joining us. This is a fantastic, fantastic book. So we'll see you again next Tuesday.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Have a good one.